What's good, guys? What's good? What's good? What's good? Strong Art back in here with another video. Welcome to all my old subscribers, new subscribers, people who are just hearing about me, people who have been knowing about me. Welcome to all of y'all, man. So tonight, I don't know how long this is gonna be. I just want to go ahead and kick my opinions about a few things that's going on around the manosphere right now, or really the passport community in general. I've been listening to different streams lately. There is so much stuff going on right now. Everybody has their opinion about brothers who travel, about brothers who are on this whole passport mindset, brothers who want to exercise a different way of living, man. All the stuff that's going on right now is just it's starting to get comical, because I was listening to, first off, I'm gonna start off by saying I was listening to Pablo talk about on, I believe this was on Bernard's channel, or he said, I think he said it on Bernard's channel, and then he did his own video. Shout out to Pablo, by the way, because he was talking about how our passport brothers are, himself in general, is he red pill. Now, at first I was thinking, like, obviously you're red pill, of course. And I started to feel some type of ways, like, well, why are you trying to separate yourself from red pill? I mean, everything that we've talked about, a lot of the talking points are kind of revolving around the red pill understanding and ideology and stuff like that. And it did kind of dawn on me that there are some subtle differences. Because the way brothers who travel are moving, it is a little different. There are some differences within the little subgroups we got going on. Also, I was watching a stream with Thinking Man's Tiplar. I'm subscribed to him. I've been a part of his Patreon for I don't know how long. I've been, listening to that brother for a long time. And to see him come back on YouTube, because I haven't seen him do anything on YouTube lately, but it's good to see him come back on YouTube. Good to see him kind of make a somewhat of a return. And he came out the gate firing. I mean, brother ran like a 3-hour live stream and, was dropping his facts and opinions about the nature of what's going on right now. It's good that he is found his way in Brazil on a student visa. He's doing his thing, and that's exactly what he said he wanted to do. I mean, he said he wanted to get out to Brazil and stay out there, and he motivated me to also focus on not just traveling out there to Brazil, but ways I can stay. Okay. And that to me is the gist of kind of what I want to get into, because I'm starting to see a division within, I guess we could say, the travel bros and kind of like the mainstream black manosphere red pill ideologies. What I'm starting to see is that on the red pill side of the house, we got brothers who are, every day it's like they're fighting the fight. It's like they're going back and forth with the ideologies of these women, stuff like that, what they're doing wrong, what they're not doing. And I know it's been said before, but what I'm really starting to see is that it seems like that on the red pill side of the house, or now the mainstream black manosphere side of the house, because I don't want to completely separate myself from being called quote unquote red pill. I'm gonna explain that in a minute, but just let me get to it. It's like, I think from the passport brother perspective, it's like we're not waiting around for a course correction of a whole community. We're gonna go to where our options and needs are best met. We're not waiting. And we're also already in the mind state of we've already figured it out. We already have a solution. Brothers on this side of the house already have a solution, and we're getting it done. brothers who are more so focusing on what's going on in the States, to be honest, when you think about it, you are waiting on black women to get better. I mean, because if you're not really focusing on importing, which you're going to have to travel in order to go out somewhere to where these other women of different cultures are, you could either, I guess, date out. You could do that. But you're kind of waiting on a percentage of, at least, certain women to understand where you're coming from so you can kind of change the narrative, right? Which is okay. I'm not knocking that. But I want to say that I do understand what Pablo's talking about, where he says, where our passport bros are a little bit not 100%, just stomp down on the red pill stuff, because you can move a little different overseas. And I get that. I do get it because I've experienced it. Okay. Certain things you don't have to quite go as hard on. I was listening to, Thinking Man's Templar, I was listening to him talk about how when he's moving through Brazil, the mind state is different. He said that when he was doing his earlier videos, he didn't have he had, like hate in his heart, basically, or there was still anger. But now he's at a point to where he feels no anger. And honestly, I get that 100%, because after me, have been made frequent trips down to Brazil, and I've seen outside of these borders, you don't really have to move in that same way of having to look for an ulterior motive every time you're dealing with a female. Like, the brother dropped the example. Thinking Man's Templar, he dropped the example where he was dealing with a chick, and because he kept looking for something, and she's trying to do something nefarious, she's trying to backstab me and this and that, and he even said that kind of held him up from having a good situation. Something that otherwise would have been a conducive situation for him. He talked about how fine she was, and that's exactly what he wanted, and the physical side of the game. But he said mentally, it was almost like he was too red pill. And at first I was just like, man, what are we talking about? Why are we, shooting inside our house? Same team, why are we fighting each other? But I think we're just pointing out the differences. We're pointing out that the mind state is different when you're traveling. Because a lot of the brothers who travel, and Pablo made this point very clear, a lot of the brothers who are actually traveling, they're focused on, they are married. A lot of them are married or looking for wives right off the bat. And a lot of the red pill terminologies and teachings just kind of teach you how to be aware of women's motives and moves and stuff like that. But there are a lot of things within the red pill that are not really teaching you how to really build with a woman. We talk about how to make our standards and stuff like that. Yeah, that's true. But how to really build with a female, when I think about it, it's like when you hear a lot of the mainstream red pill content creators say, this is stomp down what I want, this is stomp down what I'm gonna get out of you, this and that. But in reality, it when you travel, okay, because red pill is really designed around how to deal with women in this environment. And at first I was a little kind of like taken aback, like, Pablo, what are you talking about, man? But when I listened, and then I listened to somebody else's opinion, of course, I listened to Thinking Man's Templar, like I was saying, and I'm starting to kind of bounce that around, the opinion of like, wait a minute, we don't actually have to do things in the same ways, if you know what I'm saying. The mentality is a bit different. You don't have to move the same way. You really don't. You know what I mean? Let me adjust my chair. You don't have to move the same way. And because the whole thing about being on the passport side of the house is just like you get so sick and tired of brothers, or well, first of all, people, but brothers trying to tell us how to move. It's just like you don't tell us what to do, bro. Like I was listening to the live stream also on Bernard's channel where the brothers, I think it was the two, I guess Brazilian brothers said something about how why don't y'all go over into Africa and stuff like that. Like, oh, here we go again. You niggas trying to tell us how to move and what to do. We are free grown men. We are free thinking grown men. All right. And for those of you who have so much to say about where we go, fuck you. Simple as that. You're not telling us what to do. You're not telling us where to go. Our decision has already been made. It's not up to you to talk to us like we're children, as though we don't know what we want. As if that, you know, like we have to make sure that while we're traveling, we're on our bestest behavior. Because we don't want to make it look bad for brothers back home, and we's got to make sure that we's keeping it black when we's travel. Again, fuck you. Because I'm going to tell you like this. I have no issue letting anybody know that I'm still looking to travel to Europe. And I'm looking to go to Germany, Poland, hell, Ukraine, when they figure their situation out. Like, there's still different spots I want to go to that have nothing to do with it being African. So, yeah, I'm still looking to get up on these white girls over here in Europe, these European girls. Iceland, who knows, bruh? Russia, who knows? But the thing is that I don't have to make it seem like I need to make it a point to tell you that, oh, I'm going to Africa and I'm keeping it black. Fuck out of here. We go where the fuck we want. I don't have any ties to anyone, or passport brothers in general. Don't have any ties to anyone to try to make it seem like, oh, we going here and we keeping it black. Give a shit about keeping it anything. I keep it the fuck the way I want to keep it. That's how I'm gonna keep it. The way the fuck I want it. Right? Because whatever woman I have a child with, that child is black. Fuck what you say. Fuck what you have to say about it. The child is black. You see how dark I am? Okay. My son is mixed. But you wouldn't know it if you never saw his mama. That's how brown he is. And guess what? She's straight white. Polish even. Yeah. Blonde hair, the whole nine. My ex that I had a kid with. No shame in telling that. And no shame in letting people know that it's not your job to govern how we move. We don't owe you shit. We don't owe you a blood debt to nothing. We don't need to sit here and explain to you that, oh, well, I'm going to make sure I go to Africa so it can look better. No, bro, I'll tell you what, I will go down to Brazil and smash the whitest Brazilian bitch and don't give a fuck what you think about it. And be unapologetically nailing Brazilian white bitches just to say I did it. Because the mentality of how we move is not on you to tell us how good we are. We're not getting a grade based off of what you niggas think. Okay? So the whole red pill ideologies of certain things, yeah, you want to be aware of the nature of women. You don't want to go out here and get caught up. And there's a lot of things that the brother was saying, Thinking Man Simplar was saying, TMT. There's a lot of things he was saying that was dead on. Rio ain't no fairy tale. Brazil ain't no fairy tale. When you get out there, you want to get the language. You if you're serious about going to any of these countries, the main thing that's going to separate you from being a weekend warrior is getting that language down pat, or at least making your best attempts. Right? And another thing that Pablo said that is probably going to wake a lot of y'all up is, yeah, you will have to, you listen, you want to be involved with her family on some level. I'm not saying that you need to be giving them cash prizes, but you should want the respect of her family. See, that's a whole different dimension that some of y'all not even thinking about. Is that, yeah, we go out here, oh yeah, the foreign girls, this, yeah, but what about her family? Believe me, I know what it is to cross cultures. In the two cultures, your family and hers don't relate. See, because now you're going to fight a battle on two fronts. Y'all can be good, but at the end of the day, what about you ingratiated into her culture, which means her family? And this is why, even in America, this is why you'll hear some Latin girls talk about, well, I would date him, but he won't be able to talk to my grandma because he don't know Spanish. You know what I mean? My abuela, if I'm saying it right. I think that's grandma. I think I might have messed it up. Whatever. Right? So I'm saying, like, you'll hear that even in the States. You'll get that. Right? So it does matter. Like, you really, because that's why I said, when you're traveling, your heart needs to be in the right place. You know, again, I'm co-signing TMT. If you go out there, and I've said this before to brothers I've told about going, anybody that knows me, when they've asked me about traveling, the one thing I'll say, before you go to Brazil specifically Rio, your heart needs to be in the right place. You need to make sure that you are good and content on what you want and what you're there for. Because when you get down there, you could be sold anything. And if you ain't aware and you didn't see it coming, you will get caught up in a possible death trap. If you don't have your demons under control, whatever they might be, you might be dealing with those old demons might come flying back to you. Because, you know, like the brother said, drug addiction, any type of like alcohol, maybe even with the females, all that stuff the brother was saying was spot on, man. I was feeling that. I was feeling exactly what he was talking about. Because me, like I said, have been there and in the exact same spots that I know he's talking about. Yes. You know, the girls, some of them, they got the drug on them. If you anything you're trying to find is easily accessible. You know what I mean? I've had girls offer me stuff. You know what I mean? I mean the reality of what going to these countries is about is you want to go down there with the mindset of, I want to learn and understand this culture. Don't be too quick to just run and jump into something. This is why it's highly frowned upon to try to just run down there, snatch you up a foreign, a bride, whatever, and then try to bring her back to the States. That's a direct no. You don't know her. You don't know her culture. And you don't know what she's running from. You don't know what type of life she's in. I mean, yeah, it does get almost glorified traveling to some places. Granted that. We do make it sound nice because it is. But there are also other parts of it to where you want to be watching your back. True. You want to be aware of certain places. You want to keep it a buck. If you go down to Rio, I'm gonna keep it a buck. If you go down to Rio, you out there on the beach, you're in Copacabana, I'm gonna tell you what. And this is any brother who knows this. High majority of the attractive girls you see, most likely, she's probably working. She's gonna keep it a buck. That's true. That is, but it's not all. It doesn't mean all, and you don't have to go to those specific places. And like I said, you want to have your mental faculties in order before you start making these moves. This is what will separate you from being a quote unquote passport pookie, you know, a weekend warrior, stuff like that. Is because you're trying to, now that to me, that's cheating the game. Is, oh, I'm just going to jump down to the DR, grab me a Dominican girl, barely speak her language, and I'm going to drag her back to the States. She'll be more than happy and ready and willing to go because she knows the game and you don't. You want to be very careful before you make these foolish moves. And I hear this over the YouTube waves about brothers talking about, why don't y'all talk about doing this and this ain't bad and this or this is bad. That's this ain't perfect and y'all don't talk about this. Y'all don't talk. Okay, fine. We know it's not a utopia, but generally this is for brothers who ask specific questions. Will tell you, yo, don't move like this. We're not telling brothers to go down in these places blindfolded without any type of knowledge and understanding. That's when you'll start having clowns like them brothers who went down to Medellin, or I think it was Medellin or Cartagena, and they was at clubs throwing money up. Some of the most disrespectful shit you can do in a foreign country is throw their money around like it's fucking tissue paper. Motherfuckers will come see you. Don't be stupid. But see, for the brothers like that, and for us on this side of the game, we're expecting you have at least that much common sense. The same street smarts that you move with in the States when you go to a hood that's not yours, you want to take that same mentality when you go to somebody else's country that's not yours. We're trying to, we're expecting that we don't have to hold your hand that much. Well, don't be stupid, because you get caught up in some stuff over here internationally. It's way harder to save you. You get on some dumb shit over here, street justice for their country, we have quote unquote no jurisdiction over. Right? We can't slide in and be like, hey bro, nah, he good. Nah. See, when it get to a certain point in certain countries, they don't want to hear that. Nah, bro, they don't speak English no more at all. Now it's about that action. They coming for your ass. Because you completely, utterly disrespected their country. Now, for those of you who want to go over there and do that dumb shit, guess what? We can't save you. Sorry. If you're a pookie in the States, you're going to be a pookie when you travel. Now, I know that the whole passport thing is starting to go more mainstream and stuff like that, but another big reason I'm putting this out is because I see the red pill, quote unquote, is starting to go more mainstream. And I was listening to Rollo Tomasi even the other day talk about this. It was never meant to go mainstream, really. But the way everybody's been pushing it and the way it's just been getting out there, especially with the advents of Andrew Tate, Kevin Samuels, and the likes, it's like now we're going to have to deal with almost the backlash of some of the things that we stand on. And what it is to me, and this is a Rollo Tomasi quote, is giving kids dynamite. Because you've unlocked the potential of these kids before they're ready. These younger ones who have all this red pill talking points, but they don't know how to move with it, and they're moving foolish with it. Right? This is why the ancient Egyptians had the mystery schools. This is why every Padawan had a Jedi Master, is because you can't get on top of this type of stuff without properly being trained with it first. But the genie's out of the bottle for the most part. And this is why, in my prediction, I see that the red pill, the manosphere in general, is dividing itself. I think, and I don't want to really preach doom and gloom up here, but we could be looking at I don't want to say implosion necessarily, but I will say this. I think we're going to start to see a division, even with brothers who quote unquote understand red pill, and not blue pill brothers. But brothers who understand red pill are going to start disassociating themselves from red pill, because some will say it's not really being productive, I guess, enough. Because now we're going to have to deal with the backlash of, we got these youngins running around in school talking these red pill talks and points, and they're kind of shitting on the game because they're not properly really going about it the right way. But they're going to quote their favorite YouTuber, and they're going to point to X, Y, and Z when they say, oh, look what, for example, Kevin Samuel said, or Andrew Tate most recently. And Andrew Tate says what he says. He could be a little inflammatory. But even like Fresh and Fit, which I don't personally watch Fresh and Fit, their talking points, yeah, they're red pill based, but the way they're going about it is really kind of more of a show. I'll be honest. To me, I can't watch their show. To me, it's a bit ignorant. No slight to the brothers. It is a bit. It's a bit showy. It's a bit ignorant, right? Because of how they're kind of doing it. And I see in the future that the red pill is more going to be associated with what we see from Fresh and Fit side of the house, instead of what it's kind of supposed to be at its core, which is supposed to be the awakening, the understanding, men getting on their purpose, moving better and smarter in this world, stuff like that. That's what it's supposed to be. But I see that the mainstream, just like they did with woke, y'all pay attention, just like they did with woke, because not but maybe damn near probably like 7 years ago, I'll say, woke was something that was talked about kind of within the inner black community, inner conscious community. It was like, hey fam, stay woke, bro, stay woke. All right, bro. It was like a greeting, stay woke. Something that was talked about to just be like, hey man, keep your head up, stay aware, right? And what happened when it went mainstream? They turned it into a political fucking weapon and completely bastardized the core definition of what it was supposed to be, which is what they do anyway when it goes mainstream. And I see the same thing is about to happen for Red Pill, which is why don't be surprised if you see more and more brothers start to somewhat speak against the Red Pill terminologies in some degrees. I see it happening on the passport side, because a lot of passport brothers are focused more. They will more or less say that on the passport side, we're not trying to fight with black women every day. Like, I have no intent to have a panel full of me debating a bunch of black women. I don't care about that. And that's one of the reasons why Bernard gets, all the heat he gets. Well, some of the heat is revolving around him involving women, this and that, da-da-da. And he vehemently stomped down and said, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. We're supposed to have the conversation with women anyway. Stuff like, and he went into it. Which he's not wrong. But think about it this. Bernard's already in a good relationship. He's good. He's got a good thing going for himself. For him, he's not really interested in dating a bunch of black women anytime soon, because he's got one. He's good. So there are different content creators who are, some will say, repetitively going over the same things and debating a lot of different talking points with these women. And other brothers will say, bro, it's not necessary. I think the travel brother side of the house is more on the part of, this ain't necessary. This ain't necessary, because a lot of us have kind of already made our decision that, we're good. We're indifferent. The opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. And I think a lot of passport brothers or travel brothers are more so just like, fam, we're indifferent to what black women do. We don't care. We don't care. We already got our mindset on building, more or less, honestly, an expat community. I think that's the end game for brothers who really are about traveling. They're looking for places overseas to live. And that's why I hate the argument of, well, when you bring her back here, who keeps why do you have this assumption that we are just so dead set on dragging these women out of their home countries and bringing them back to America? See, that's what you know when you're dealing with brothers who talk about travel who don't travel. Is we don't think like you. We're not the same. Right? We're not the same. But like I was saying, even on the travel side of the house, it's not a utopia. I don't think any travel brother is saying it's a utopia. Okay? There are things that you need to watch out for. There are definitely dangers. You need to be aware. I would say that red pill awareness is what you need. I think that for brothers who travel, the more being red pill is more like understanding what could happen, understanding the nature of women, understanding the nature of who you are and how you want to go about being on your purpose and stuff like that. Yeah, okay, cool. But you don't have to do some of the extraordinary things like dread game and running certain plays on females necessarily. You don't really have to do that, because it's good to understand what you want. If you say you don't want to deal with single mothers, you don't have to. Nobody's advocating for you dealing with single mothers or taking care of a female's family. You don't have to do those things. But there are some things you don't really have to go to the extreme on. Like, for instance, you don't have to do stuff like waiting to text her back, like 2-3 days later. You ain't got to do all that stuff, man. If a girl's feeling you, specifically, I'll speak for Brazil. A girl's feeling you, you can talk to her like a regular person. You don't have to do no extra game tactics and all this other stuff. I know that's getting into the game side of the house, but you don't have to do all the extra game stuff. You can talk to her regular. Y'all can have a chill conversation. Generally, girls that'll hang out with you, generally, they want to also be intimate. It is what it is. It's the games like that are not really ran. Like I said, yeah, they'll still be about their bullshit, but it's almost just like it's just a different playbook. It's games will be there, but it won't be the same place. It'll be a different playbook, but you just got to be aware of those games. Okay, girls will move differently overseas. It's almost like they'll be feminine, but within their femininity, they can be very deceitful. Over here in the States, girls could be very masculine, and it's very obvious how deceitful she can be. Right? Acting like a damn man all the time. All right. But for me, it's I see a division. I want to say that I'm calling it right now. That I think we're going to start to see a somewhat of a pushback against the general mainstream red pill ideologies. And I think it's going to be, honestly, mostly fueled by the mainstream when they get a hold of the red pill, or when they start, because I think right now there's a lot of mainstream people who are trying to find ways to box up what they consider the male activist movements or red pill stuff, and I think they're trying to find a way to box it and give it a name so they can have their version of it, to bastardize it and kill it. See, that's how they're going to step all over the work that's being done. I'm not trying to sit here and blame anybody, but I will say that I think we need to be aware of what's on the horizon. And I definitely see that we could be looking at a potential division. Okay. Potential division from the passport side of the house, from the red pill side of the house. And I understand it. I don't think it's a personal thing on red pill ideology. I just think it's more like a red pill ascension is what I would call it. It's like you can't graduate and go beyond the main understandings of red pill. I think you can. I really think you can. You can go beyond and be red pill ascended and just say, I understand it. I'm not purple pill, but I've graduated and moved on to something that is higher. I think that can be done. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You can definitely do that. You can go higher and say, I understand red pill. I don't use all of it. I get it. I got it. But international, when you cross borders, we don't have a name for what that type of understanding. It's just traveling. It's just living. That's what I'm saying. And we don't have to have names for everything. That's the thing. We don't have to have a name for it. You just cross borders, handle your business, do your thing. All right. So, pretty much all I want to say on that topic. That's basically it. I got all that out. So yeah, you guys go check out Frustrated 3. Created, put together, directed by the great Al Grease. We call him Coach Grease over here on our side. It is great. Great movie. Myself, other brothers are in it. Kosher Clinician is in it. El Wapo is in it. Some of the popular content creators that y'all would know. Yeah, it's great, good. Y'all can go check it out. I believe it's on Vimeo. The link should be somewhere. I'll try to get the link and start putting it out as well on my channel. But yeah, guys, I want to thank everybody for joining. Any questions, you guys can put them down in the comment section. I really want to get this conversation started because I think this is something that's new, that's on the horizon, right? I think that we have brothers who are will push against the red pill as far as talking about it from the standpoint of, you know, the pro-blacks will attack the red pill. And now we have brothers who are within it or were within it, or passport bros who are just kind of like, yeah, we understand it, but we're also on this side of the house as well. I don't really like the divisions, stuff like that, but I do think that it does need to be at least spoken on. That I see it on the horizon and I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it, right? So post your comments down below. Let me know how you feel about the topic. Any questions you have for me, go ahead and let me know, and I'll get back to you guys on another video. All right, y'all be easy. All right, peace.